Good evening, friends. It is night 18 on the Elul screen challenge on our way to Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, traveling through this month of introspection and return to Shiva as we read passages from Inner Work, Avodat Hashem, on page 31. The progression of the spiritual worlds is like a ladder with many rungs. The many rungs make spiritual ascension easier. If there were fewer rungs, it would be harder to ascend. Right? So if you've seen that picture with a ladder, a long ladder, and one with many rungs versus one with fewer rungs, the metaphor is that the levels of development are many and they're spaced with many in between. So development doesn't take place in these large leaps that would be harder to ascend. It takes place in small progressions, slowly ascending step by step, little steps, baby steps. When we are receiving, we are limited, as satiation extinguishes pleasure. When we are giving, we are without limitation. Giving is eternal and unlimited. When we are receiving, we are limited, as satiation extinguishes pleasure, right? When we're receiving, once we're full, once we're satiated, the pleasure goes away. If you have an ice cream and once you're full, eating more ice cream does not give you pleasure because you're satiated. There's no more desire. There's no more hunger for it. But giving is eternal and unlimited. So when we give, we are without limitation. So what does it mean to give? We're going to talk about this in another passage ahead. What does it mean to give? Does it mean just like giving to someone? It means seeing them through the eyes of God. I mean, seeing them in a way in which we're not trying to get something from them. We're not trying to get something. We are satiated in our own selves because we're connected to the divine. We're connected to the unity of God. And we are connected to our purpose of being here. So we're not trying to get, we're satiated in that regard. And so when we look at a person without trying to get, we, as we said in prior passages, we're looking at their good qualities. We're seeing how they're also connected to God. And we're longing for them to feel that connection as well as to share in that connection together. So that place of giving is already in connection with the divine. The divine is all giving. There's no receiving within God. And so when we are connected in that way with the divine, united in purpose and will, then we're in this state of giving, and that state of giving is eternal. It's without limitation because it's connected already to the limitless state of being of God. When we experience God through understanding, the experience is limited. When we experience God in a state of Emunah, transcending understanding, then the experience is absolutely limitless. Again, so now there's another comparison of limited and limitless. When we experience God through understanding, right, through the mind, through thought, through mochin and yediyah, through knowledge and understanding, then the experience is limited. It's limited by our minds. Our minds are limited. They're finite expressions. But when we experience God through a state of emunah, which doesn't, again, like emunah is translated as faith, but it's a false translation. Because faith also seems to be like a belief. It comes from the mind, a thought. But this state of emunah is something else. Emunah transcends understanding. It goes into a place of being. And in that place of embodied faith, it's transcendent. It's a state of being. And that state of being is limitless because, again, it's connected to the divine. That state of emunah, a true state of emunah, is connected to the divine. It's connected to the source of all existence, and thus it transcends understanding and goes directly through being, and that being is a state of limitlessness. That being is a state of eternality. So when we experience God in that regard through embodied faith, then the experience is limitless. But when it's through the mind only, through knowledge and understanding, then the experience is limited. Page 32. The Baal HaSulam expanded on the Torah's language of loving others and used the expression giving to others. His intention is that love needs to be expressed through action. So again, what does it mean to give? It's connected to loving. Giving is connected to loving. The Baal HaSulam expanded on the Torah's language of loving others and used the expression giving to others, meaning synonymous. His intention is that love needs to be expressed through action. So the Torah's language of loving others, what does it mean, again, to love another? It means to feel that divine connection, to be connected with God, and thus to see the other through God's eyes, and to see the divinity and the sacredness within that being, transcending the masks of identity, the masks of name and form, seeing into the soul of another, and thus seeing the God, the expression of God, the extension of God in that other being, seeing the beauty, the magic, the mystery that we also call light, the light shining from that being. And that is to love them. That's to love them. Actually, loving is seeing the God in another being. And that seeing the God is feeling this love for them, because you feel not only that they're connected to God, but that you're connected to God, and thus you're deeply connected to them. You're part of this magical, mysterious experience both as all extensions of the divine, and thus intimately connected, and we're in this together. And so you feel this love for the other as a sibling in God, as one of God's children together in this beautiful mystery, in this beautiful love. Like the God also is synonymous with love. And when we're in that flow of light, of God's light, we're in a state of love, and we're also, the Baal HaSulam used the word giving to others as a way of saying loving to others, because that that loving others can seem also somewhat removed. It can seem like I love you, and it's could not be expressed. Love could not be expressed. It could just be, I feel this for you, and it's in me, and it doesn't necessarily extend to you. So the Bala Sulam was saying that actually, no, it's giving to others, because the love needs to be expressed through action. And so when we love others in this way, and we give to others in this way, we're seeing that divine connection. And the love comes through action. It comes through support, through care, through concern, through true care for another, wanting, longing for their well-being, longing for them to be united and connected with the divine, because they're an extension of you. I think this is the whole journey of healing and awakening. And the spiritual journey of all of this is that we're working towards caring so deeply for another because we feel they're an extension of God and an extension of ourselves. So they are a part of us. Instead of now the world is so individually centered, I'm for me, I'm all about me, trying to get for me, because I'm separate. I'm separate from you. I have myself and I have my family, and so I need to take care of myself and my family. But when the consciousness expands externally, as we said in previous passages, then we recognize that others are not separate from us, that they're an extension of us, that they're deeply intertwined and connected intimately with us, and thus we want for them. We want for their happiness because that is our happiness. Their happiness, their awakening is our happiness, is our awakening. So giving to them is giving. It's also this limitless experience because it's connected to that limitless love. And giving to others is it's this expression of love because it flows from this place of unity and connection, intimacy, and wanting for their well-being in the highest way possible. Okay, final passage. It is through belief that we fix ourselves. To the extent that we believe in God's goodness, we also become good. And belief here is also Emunah. So you could say it is through Emunah that we fix ourselves. To the extent that we have Emunah in God's goodness, we also become good. Right? So through Emunah in God, in this path, in healing and awakening, through that we fix ourselves, the language of tikkun. Inyan tikkun ha'adam et atzmo, the inyan of tikkun, of repair, of spiritual repair. It's only through emunah, right? Through real deep embodied faith, we know in this, we know through emunah. It's not belief like an idea, but we know it in our being that we're all extensions of the divine and that we're here to heal and awaken. And to the extent that we believe in God's goodness, in God being the one who is the ultimate giver and who wants more than anything, if in that sense, anthropomorphized wanting, for us to feel connected with the divine and thus receive the greatest pleasure, the pleasure beyond measure, that to the extent we have Emunah in that and in God's goodness in this way, then we also become good, because we again are transcended and transported to that place of union through this Emunah, embodied Emunah. We're transported to a place of union, and to the extent we have faith in Emunah and God's goodness, also it correlates exactly to us becoming good as an extension of that. It's another one of these mathematical equations. So Emunah is key. Rak al yedei ha'emunah. It is only through Emunah, this embodied faith, that we fix ourselves, that we come into a state of tikkun, as we recognize the true purpose of our being here. We recognize the presence of the eternal presence of the divine. We recognize the truth of what this all means and our part and our place in it as both extensions of the divine and as servants of the divine, here to give to others as part of our mission to heal and awaken and to transform the planet, to bring tikkun olam, to bring spiritual repair to ourselves and to the planet. Through that emunah, we fix ourselves, and to the extent in which we have emunah in God's ultimate goodness, in this divine plan for transformation and for healing and for awakening, to that extent of the emunah, we are then shining in that same light and that same goodness. Okay, friends, have a wonderful night. We'll see you tomorrow.